What's going on, my friends? I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. You guys know I do a lot of gimbal reviews on this channel, mainly for the fact that I'm trying to find the best one for the A7 IV and for my FX6, and I actually think I have found the best one for my usage, and this might actually be for you as well. This is the RS3 Pro by DJI and the RS3. We're going to be talking about the differences between these two, and are they actually going to be worth it for your camera system, and what kind of camera systems they can actually handle as well. So let's get into this video. So yes, DJI did send me both of these gimbals, but no, and I'm not affiliated with DJI at all. This is actually the first time I've actually worked with them. I've actually used the RS2 Pro before, and it has been a phenomenal gimbal. I think one of the biggest things about the DJI gimbals is the algorithm. It is so steady, just the way it works. It's a phenomenal gimbal when it comes to the other gimbals that I've tested before. Now, we're going to be talking about the biggest and key differences between these two. Like I said, the A7 IV will fit on both of these. The FX6 technically will fit on both of these as well, but I've been using the FX6 on the RS3 Pro mainly for the fact that it does have that longer arm as well. In terms of the build quality, they are very, very similar. This is 1.5 kilos heavy, this is 1.3 kilos heavy, so they're pretty much very similar size. The build quality does differ between these two. This one happens to be carbon fiber, so it is a much lighter and sturdier build, whereas this one is magnesium alloy, so it is a little bit more metal sort of feeling rather than the carbon fiber sort of feeling. It does look slightly different, but in terms of build quality, they are both built absolutely phenomenal. I've tested a lot of gimbals, and there are some gimbals that are just built, pretty average but perform well. Some of them are built well and perform average. This one is built well and performs very, very good. Now you can see the key differences between the RS3 and the RS3 Pro are these two handles here. The RS3 Pro has a 30 watt hour handle, whereas the RS3 has a 21.6 watt hour handle. And there is a payload difference between the RS3, which is 3 kilos, and the RS3 Pro, which is 4.5 kilos. And here is a cameras list recommended by DJI. You can screenshot this or just pause this right now. So as usual, this is a pre-production copy, so the firmware isn't 100% locked in, but obviously when this gets shipped out to you guys, the firmware will be the production copy. And the great thing about DJI is they do firmware updates absolutely all the time. But we're going to be talking about the LiDAR system and, some of the things that will pop up in this when it comes to the firmware. Let's get back into the video anyway. Now, I think the key feature of both of these gimbals is the auto locking technology. Now, this is the first that I've personally seen in any gimbal. I don't think there's a gimbal out there right now that auto unlocks and auto locks. And you're probably thinking, well, that's, it's a cool feature, but why would I need to use that? There's a few times that I've actually used some of my other gimbals and I forgot to unlock one of the axes, and then the gimbal just starts to freak out and shuts off. This one, if you forget to obviously unlock it, well, you don't need to unlock it. It automatically unlocks as soon as you turn it on. That is such a fantastic feature. I did actually shoot a short film on the weekend with the Canon C300 Mark III and the massive gimbal, and I forgot to unlock one of the axes, and yeah, it freaked out, went into sleep mode. So, I actually had to power it off and then power it back on. So it did, it did cost me a little bit of time, and that was a little bit annoying. Obviously, my bad. I forgot to unlock one of the axes because I've been using these for the last couple of weeks and having to not need to unlock some of the axes. Now, there was actually one thing that I used the RS3 Pro for, and that was when I went to Thailand and did a documentary on a Muay Thai fighter. They were running on the road trying to cut a little bit of weight, and I was following them with this in the A7 IV, and the algorithm in this to make it really stable is just incredible. Some of the other gimbals tend to be really, really shaky, whereas this one performed so good. And also, let me know in the comments below, do you use any of the Ronin gimbals in the previous versions? Are you going to be upgrading to the RS3 or RS3 Pro? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get back into the video. Now, what about when it comes to car mounting systems and gimbal ring systems when you obviously want to be mounting it upside down? Well, obviously this is just like any other DJI gimbal that you can actually mount this upside down, which is really good because like I was saying earlier, the algorithm is just absolutely incredible when it comes to stability on these things, and mounted upside down is no exception. It works Absolutely phenomenal, especially if you are car mounting this thing, mounting it upside down, controlling it externally. It just works so well. And I do actually have a project that's coming up, and I'm hopefully getting my hands on the Tilta Hydra Alien that I can actually car mount this thing and test this thing to the limits. And yes, this is my new YouTube studio. It's not set up yet. I'm still working on it. There's a whole bunch of work. Moving is tough. I know you guys know moving is tough. It just takes so long, especially if you have so much gear. But you can see I've still got my rack behind there. I've got my editing station here. I've got a bathroom. I've got a storage room. There's stuff everywhere. There is stuff everywhere. This isn't 100% locked in because I've got a new lighting system that I'm going to be mounting in, a new microphone system. I've actually just got the shotgun mic just on top of the camera right now, but let's talk about the DJI gimbals back into this video. Now, I think one of the greatest features of the RS3 Pro is this thing. So the RS2 actually had this as well, but this is obviously a lot better than the previous version. This is the LiDAR technology. So essentially it creates an autofocus system for almost all manual focus lenses. So if you have an old vintage manual focus lens, you can pretty much make it autofocus. That is mind-blowing. That is so good, but obviously a lot of cinematographers don't actually like to use autofocus. They still love manual focus. You still have that option there. You do actually have the focus wheel on the front, which you can attach the focus motors onto here as well. So it really depends on how you actually want to be shooting. So when you start using the LiDAR system, you actually have to calibrate your lens. So it goes through focus calibration, and then you also have to calibrate the LiDAR sensor itself. So you just place the camera at 1 meter away from a wall, set it, and then go back to 4 meters away from the wall. You also have to set how far the LiDAR sensor is away from your camera's sensor itself. So you just put in the digits there, and then you're pretty much done. And you can actually save this for 3 different lenses. But like I said before, this is pre-production firmware, so it could actually have something to do with the firmware that I've got, and I'm 100% certain they're gonna be fixing this for the production models. But I've actually been working with the LiDAR system with the Ronin 4D, and it's super fast and accurate. Obviously, there's gonna be a whole bunch of YouTubers that's gonna drop their review of the RS3 and RS3 Pro and the video transmission system. That's pretty much going to look like this. So this is with the R4D, the Ronin 4D. I didn't receive the video transmission system, but apparently it's pretty much the same as this. So you can do wireless controls, all the features on here. It's a phenomenal system, and the R4D is just a whole nother beast on its own, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of other YouTubers with their review of the video transmission system. Bit of change of pace. This is an incredible location. Look at the sunset. I'm silhouetted. Some, epic Batman vibes. Well, not quite Batman vibes, but this is the RS3, and I know a whole bunch of you guys have watched a whole bunch of RS3 and RS3 Pro videos by now, and this is the perfect time to be talking about DJI Care Refresh. Now, they were kind enough to send this one through for one of you guys to win. Now, you do have to be in Australia, so I'm gonna help one of my fellow Aussie creators out there to win this. So just hit me up on Instagram if you have purchased the RS3. I'm gonna send this 1-year DJI Care Refresh to one of you lucky followers. Now, DJI Care Refresh, if you don't know about it, it's a fantastic thing to have. Now, I've got it with my drones because, if you crash your drone, and it's very common that you do crash your drone, it is great to get a replacement. But if you have the Pocket series, if you have the Osmo Action series, it is a really good thing to have the DJI Care Refresh. But link will be in the description below for my Instagram or DJI Care Refresh. But anyway, let's get back into the studio. So if you didn't want a wireless transmission system like that, you can actually use this right here. So this is included with the RS3 Pro. It's pretty much just a phone holder with a NATO rail mount on the side. Because the great thing about attaching your phone on here as well is that you can access a lot of the other features like motion lapse and time lapse and all those other cool features in there that you can actually control it through your smartphone via the app. Now, in terms of customization, this is what I love about DJI gimbals. This one, I actually have a side handle on here that can go into a rear handle. So it really depends on how you shoot and how you actually want to be utilizing these, but I love having the dual handle. You can also switch out this handle here for a second controllable handle as well. There's so many different ways you can actually customize this. You can see here on the RS3, this is the handle that actually comes with it. And obviously you can change the certain angle on there as well. Really depends, same again, on how you actually want to be using this. And it actually has a cold shoe and 3/4 mount on the top of this handle, so you can mount a monitor on there as well. Now, for obvious reason, I can't judge both these gimbals because they are pre-production models, but once the production models have come out and all the new firmwares come out, that's probably when I'll do another review and I'll actually compare these to other gimbals. But at the moment, these two are the best gimbals I have in the studio, period. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That would be absolutely amazing. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing the Ronin 4D review. I'm going to be comparing these to other gimbals as well because I am still on the quest to find the best gimbal for my current camera setups, and obviously for different camera setups, because I do have the Sony a7 IV, I do have the FX6. They're completely different form factors and sizes, so it's really interesting to see the technology that's coming out specifically with DJI. They're just blowing my mind with the LiDAR system, with the auto unlocking, with the Raven Eye video transmission, with the Ronin 4D drones. My God, they are absolutely killing it at the moment. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's get it.